What's in there?
Stairs. Lots and lots of stairs.
Jeez, where's the Stairmaster when you need her? Hello everyone, I'm Keen947, aka Wolfkeen, and welcome to my My Little Pony Vlogs for Season 3. Today, I'm talking about Crystal Empire Part 2, written by Megan McCarthy. Now, if you have not seen my Crystal Empire Part 1 vlog, which is, this being a two-parter, go ahead and click the link down in the description to watch the first part. Because this is a continuation of Part 1. Part 2 of the Crystal Empire, there really is not a lot to talk about with this episode if you really think about it. Because, at this point, well, let's just get into it. The episode starts exactly where we left off, when the shield spell all of a sudden went down. At one point, Cadance was able to reestablish the shield. However, a piece of Sombra's horn broke off and made it into the shield. What we find out throughout the story is that this piece of the horn that broke through the shield since past the shield, Sombra is able to corrupt not only the shield, but the inside of the Crystal Empire, thus making it harder for Cadance to keep her shield up. So basically, Twilight has to find the Crystal Heart as quickly as possible at this point. However, instead of seeking her friend's help, she decides to tell her friends to keep the Crystal Fair going. And the reasoning behind that is not that bad if you really think about it. If the Crystal Ponies aren't, feeling any love or unity, they might not be able to power the Crystal Heart themselves. So, yeah, it makes sense that they have to, they have to keep the fair going at any way possible, and to make sure that they still are in high spirits. So they need to make sure that no one knows that the Crystal Heart is not the fake one is not the fake one, and they also need to make sure that everyone's enjoying themselves within the fair. So Twilight begins heading off to try to figure out where could she look for the Crystal Heart, and then Spike decides to catch up and tell Twilight that he's going to come with her. Which...
You can't. I have to retrieve the Crystal Heart by myself.
What?
I have to retrieve the Crystal Heart by myself.
What?
I have to retrieve the Crystal Heart by myself.
Okay. I know Celestia told you that you need to be the one to do this, and you alone. I understand this perfectly well. Except there's one thing I need to bring out. And it's a very, very simple thing. If you're supposed to do this by yourself, then why would Celestia send you with your friends? Seriously, Twilight, you didn't think of this? Really think about it. Why would Celestia send Twilight with her friends to help her find the Crystal Heart? Why would she do that? If she's supposed to be the one to do it by herself, why would she send her friends, Spike, Cadance, and Shining Armor to help out, to be there with them? Didn't you learn in the first episode, Twilight, that you can't do things by yourself and you should rely on your friends in Friendship is Magic Part 1 and 2? That was the first lesson you learned. This is a serious flaw in that idea because of that. Think about it, guys. In the first episode, Twilight learned about not doing things by herself and the magic of friendship. Here, she's trying to find the Crystal Heart by herself when she has her friends there to help her out. And pretty much this episode, nothing really interesting happens in this episode, besides Twilight's, area. In Twilight's plotline, that's pretty much the only thing that you should be really following. Everything else is just everybody trying to keep, everyone from finding out about the Crystal Heart being fake. Basically, you just have Rainbow Dash and Applejack just trying to keep things going along with Pinkie Pie, Rarity, and Fluttershy. And they do various things from arts and crafts, jousting, making sure that they don't see the thing, making sure they have food and other stuff like that. While all the while, we just see Sombra corrupting more and more of the Crystal Empire. So at one point, Twilight heads back to the throne room inside the castle, and she has this idea from Princess Celestia. The Crystal Heart could be here. But no one would believe it would be here, because who would be willing to go into Sombra's castle if they're so afraid of him? And that seems a little cliched if you ask my honest opinion. And so Twilight well, look what Twilight does to find it. you learned that?
That was a little trick Celestia taught me.
No. We saw you see the spell Celestia did. She never taught it. We never saw you teach it to her. Yes, I know you're about to say, that's an all-screen thing. I don't know about that. Can you really learn a spell in one day? Just saying. So Twilight decides to head down the stairs by herself. Oh yeah, and Spike is with her, but she told him that he's not supposed to lift the claw, and he keeps his arms like this, not helping whatsoever. I already made my point on this problem, so I'm not going to do it again. So Twilight makes it all the way down the stairs. Well, she actually trips all the way down the stairs. And then she makes it to the door, which...
What in the...
Is that door being controlled by Discord or something? Like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so she uses this dark magic on the door, and when she goes through the door, she ends up in Canterlot again. And for some reason, Celestia tells her that she failed the test, and not only will she not be moving on to the next level of her studies, she will not be, you know, continuing her studies at all. This ends up putting Twilight in a bad state. However, it's an illusion. Spike makes it down the stairs and breaks Twilight out of her illusion, and then he looks through the door. And when he looks through the door, he ending up in Ponyville for some reason, and when he gets snapped out of the vision, he's crying. Apparently what that door does is that it shows you your worst nightmares. I like this, because it goes into the psyche of Twilight and Spike here. Twilight is so dead afraid of failing that she feels if she does fail, she will no longer become Celestia's student. And Spike, his biggest fear is Twilight sending him away. I understand this because Spike, in many cases, Twilight is like Spike's mother if you really think about it. Okay, she's not really, but if you really think about it, Twilight raised him when he was just a baby dragon. Spike looks up to Twilight in many cases, and also helps Twilight in many cases. And not to mention, Spike is seen as the voice of reason in many cases towards Twilight. So yeah, they have a very close connection and bond with each other. Just saying, guys. So basically, like I said, nothing really goes on within the fair area. We're just seeing more of the Crystal Empire being corrupted, and, you know, like them trying, you know, the Remain 5 trying to keep things under control. However, at one point they find out that the Crystal Heart is a fake, and yeah, you know where it goes from here. Twilight is basically climbing these stairs like in Super Mario and other stuff like that, and then she uses a gravity spell to make herself like slide all the way up them by going up the stairs like upside down until she makes it to the top and she finds the Crystal Heart. But here's where Twilight does something stupid. She does not think about if the Crystal Heart could be defended. So she tries to grab the Crystal Heart, and Sombra actually detects it and then activates a trap in there. I know some people say, how did Sombra do that if he's not within the shield? He's corrupting the Crystal Empire from the inside thanks to his horn. So I'm willing to believe that he was able to do that as well, activate a trap so Twilight couldn't get the Crystal Heart. So basically Twilight is trying to find some way to get out, but there really is no way to get out, and she needs to be, like Spike says it, you need to be the one to get the Crystal Heart to Cadance. Otherwise, you fail Celestia's test. And then Twilight says this.
You have to be the one to bring the Crystal Heart to the fair. Me?
Spike? Really? You want Spike, a minor character, to deliver the Crystal Heart to Cadance and save the Crystal Empire? I can get behind that. Because let me say it this way, guys. Spike is a minor character, or has been a minor character for the last 2 seasons. He doesn't really contribute anything in the grand scheme of things like the other members of the main 6, and is mainly only there for advice or as comic relief in many cases. This is the first time that he plays a major role in the grand scheme of things. And, of course, his major role is saving the Crystal Empire. And, of course, at this point, the shield has already, you know, disappeared, and Spike is trying to get to Cadance, where he's running down like this spire of crystal until he accidentally trips and is falling to his death, basically. And Sombra's coming up to basically, I don't know, eat the Crystal Heart. But then we get... Did you just... He did! He just threw his wife like Mr. Incredible in the Incredibles movie!
Bob, throw me!
Okay. Points for that little thing. So Cadence catches Spike and the Crystal Heart, and then Pony starts saying that the Crystal Princess, you know, like the Crystal Princess has returned. I don't know what to make of that. Cadence being the Crystal Princess. Because how would they know? Though people keep telling me it gets explained in one of the My Little Pony books, which I have not read yet, so give me a break. So the Crystal Ponies end up activating the Crystal Heart and basically spreading love and hope throughout the entire kingdom, and pretty much Sombra's, Sombra's corruption is disappearing, and then holy crap. Sombra died? Okay. I know characters have died in cartoon movies. I mean, look at The Lion King, Bambi, and other stuff like that. I get characters have died in cartoons before. But this is a show called My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I thought when Sombra would be hit by that, he would be changed or something like that. Reformed. Kind of like, Luna in many cases. When she was Nightmare Moon and when she was hit by the elements of harmony, she ended up going back to her old form. Or like Discord when he was turned to stone. No, Sombra freaking exploded! Holy crap! But of course, Twilight does feel a little sad about this because she was not the one to save the Crystal Empire, and she feels like that she failed the test. So Celestia gives Twilight her lesson about better to have a student that knows the idea of self-sacrifice than only looking out for their own self. That's actually a pretty good moral if you really think about it, and it's pretty mature in many cases, because Spike, he was the one who saved the Crystal Empire, though it was Twilight's decision to make it was Twilight's decision that led to that, because Twilight could have just thought about herself and tried to save, the Crystal Empire herself, but she wouldn't have enough time. She even said it herself. So she had Spike do it, even though that goes against Celestia's original goal. Nevertheless, she did play a role in saving the Crystal Empire. Not the main role, of course, but still a role. And then, of course, we get the other song of the episode, which is a reprisal of the first song. We get the stupidest, There you go, guys. That's supposed to be our overarching plot device for Season 3. And that's Crystal Empire Part 2. Is Crystal Empire Part 2 as bad as people say? No. However, there's a problem with Crystal Empire Part 2. Mainly, the only story plot that you want to follow is Twilight's, because the other story plot where they're just trying to keep the fair going and stuff like that, and just seeing the corruption, isn't really anything too interesting. We didn't get to see a lot when it came to the corruption process, and not to mention, not a lot goes on within the fair. The only interesting plot device was Twilight's. So honestly, I really feel like they should have cut the fair altogether, because in many cases, her friends didn't really play that much of a major role. Which is weird, considering that this is a show called Friendship is Magic. So it's kind of one of those weird things that kind of contradict the show idea, if you ask my honest opinion. Do I think this is a bad episode? No. I still think Crystal Empire is, well, Part 2 is okay, is meh. And Part 1 is good, and maybe on the borderline of okay. But otherwise than that, I just don't think Crystal Empire is that good of a two-parter. As a pilot, I think it's not that good. Not as bad as, let's see. If I had to rank this, I would at least put it above Friendship is Magic, but I am not putting it above Return of Harmony. So yeah, Crystal Empire Part 1 and 2, good pilot for Season 3. Just, I wish they'd done a little bit more with it, because I did like the exploration of Twilight and Spike's psyche. I would have loved more information on this dark magic, and I would have loved a little bit more information on the Crystal Empire in some cases. Meh. Beggars can't be choosers. Alright, guys. I guess there's not much else for me to say. So until next time, I'm Keen47, aka Wolfkeen. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, guys, take care. And I gotta go change this bandage, so see ya.